So let's talk about the Hobbit Collector Booster Box. Today is Sunday. We have just finished watching MTG Goldfish open his boxes. After that, people notice the value inside of these boxes is absolutely crazy, right? But wait, I said those boxes were not worth the $750. They are now $950. So I know you are probably waiting for me to apologize and say, "Ha, you suck. You don't know what you're talking about." But let's keep that on the back burner for now. Let's talk about markets real quick, okay? Just a very quick, because I'm also invested in the financial markets, like trade stocks. I trade mostly options. There was not that long ago, you guys have probably participated in it, a company, I believe it was Meta. I could be 100% wrong. I don't really play earnings, right? But basically the gist of it was this. This company was going to report their earnings, and they absolutely destroyed earnings. So let's say that the earnings was supposed to be like, an extra 2.5% increase. They increased by like 5%, right? So something crazy, like astronomical increase. Now, let's say you're a smart man. You're a logical man. You analyze the markets, you analyze the plays, you gauge everything. So before you put money in, right? You're doing the due diligence of being a smart investor. And you investigate this company, like, oh my gosh, they have this AI product coming out. They have these things that are working really well, these cloud services and whatever. So you're like, I'm going to go long on these earnings because they're going to crush. And guess what? You were right. Your due diligence paid off. On the other hand, you got a Wall Street bets type of guy that says, hey, I'm going to short this. For whatever the reason, whatever comes into his head, he said, I'm going to short this, right? After market closes, earnings are announced. The Wall Street bets guy that shorted it is now pissed off because they crushed earnings, man. I'm going to lose my shirt. And the other guy's like, well, I am a smart guy. I did do my due diligence. I told you it was going to pay off. Market opens the next day. The guy that was right, that made the right calls, lost a lot because the market had dipped. The stock had dipped by about 13% the next morning, even though they destroyed their earnings and beat all the expectations by a wild measure. Another story, really quick, just to finish illustrating my point so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Another story, the Strait of Hormuz. We all got affected by that. And when the strait closed, we saw how fast the market went down, right? But everybody's just like selling, just dumping. Okay, cool. The strait is reopened. The market goes, and then it became this flip-flop of the Strait of Hormuz is closed. It's open. It's to a point where nobody cared anymore about what was happening to the Strait of Hormuz. And when it closed again, the market still went up. Wait, hold on a second. Just a couple weeks ago, if it closed, it meant the market would take a 5% dump. Like it would really crash the market because we can't get anything in. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. But then it closed again and it reopened again and it just became an afterthought. Now, let's bring back to TCG. Pal World, an IP that most people have never heard of. Go talk to your nieces and your sons or whatever. Ask if they know about Pal World. They might know about the game, right? But it's not really a franchise that most people understand and know. Now, you and I, we grew up with Pokemon. We grew up with the Magic the Gathering stuff. We grew up with One Piece. We grew up with Dragon Ball, right? We grew up with Digimon and all these things, like and Harry Potter and Star Wars. We grew up with that stuff. Those are strong IPs because we understand there's a whole history behind it. Pal World is a video game. I played it, actually. Don't get me wrong. I played the game. But when it comes to the TCG, the boxes at distribution cost, I believe, were like $45, right? They started selling on the secondary market for $100, then $150. And now it's at $200 for a booster box, which is absolutely insane. Now, is it a smart play? You might say, well, the guy that bought these boxes and ended up profiting right now, oh, he's such a smart guy. But how can I trade something when there is no value behind it. This is why it makes it so tough, because you can be right. You can be 100% spot on your analysis. You can be 100% spot on what the cards are, the intrinsic value, right? Let's say like the play pieces in the case of TCG. You can be spot on having a good character. The art is great. The playability is great. This is going to be a good set, and be completely destroyed when the market says, we just don't like it. The Hobbit, is it worth $950 a box now that we saw the openings and everything like that? I have to tell you, I still do not see it remotely near as that. Now, does that mean that the people who bought it at $650, I know that some local stores here actually did sell for like $650. Some that actually did sell for $550 even. Hey, shout out to them. People who bought that, they're very smart, right? I still think that the right play was to just not rely on these boxes going to this price, because I can only analyze what is in front of us. I can only analyze the data that we have. And when we looked at the cards, you saw with me, when we went through the actual TCG player, it didn't seem like the cards were that expensive. And when Goldfish opened his cards, he did hit like a lot of the top big hits. So it did skew his perspective on that set a lot. And I really don't think, I'm sorry, I cannot for the life of me believe that those search foils are going to be worth as much as he said that they are worth. Not that because he's wrong. No, he's like, I always listen to his stuff. I think he's a fantastic creator. I think he's very spot on most things he says. But when we opened that set, the issue is that we ended up establishing this notion of that, hey, this set is going to be a banger. Like he said, I don't want to say this is a free money glitch. No, it's not, dude. I think people are overhyping the box toppers a little bit. People think that it's all Orcish Bowman and Galegio Dismisso and the One Ring and everything, right? Sorry, it is 120 degrees in Las Vegas, so my phone just cut off until it cooled down again. But let me just lower this AC a little bit here, so probably not as noisy. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is that I don't think the box toppers are worth as much as people are claiming to, because it's 1 out of 40. So let's say there are 5 cards that are in the $30, $40 range. I don't think it's 1 per box. Okay, it's 1 card per box. So a lot of people are thinking they're just flying to free money here, and I don't see it. Now, do I see this being on the same level as Final Fantasy, where it's just going to keep going 1.2, 1.3, 1.7, 2K? It could. It could. That my point is it could. Am I selling it at a certain number that I think is more than enough for me? Yes, I pre-sold some of these at $750. And I think $750 is a great price to pre-sell these at. But now I have some more. I'm like, hey, if it's at $1,000 by the time release comes around, I'll sell it at $1,000, no problem. Because I have this sense, like it's just already an insane return. For me to get nearly 100% return on an item, it's already crazy. You can't do that in the stock market that easily, right? So I have like a more grounded sense when it comes to investments, and when it comes to how you're going to play this financial game. It's like, oh, it's not an investment, bro. It's a card game. Well, it is an investment because you are putting $900 into it. Anything that you put $900 into it is some sort. It could be a bad investment. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, you're buying into a business or a house or a company, but it's still an investment. It's a lot of money. So I have to be smart about it, because if it does tank, like Spider-Man, let's not forget Spider-Man was also $900 at one point. And then it tanked a Micro Center for $260. So, hey, what would you rather do? Buy that $900 box or wait for Micro Center to dump it after the product tanked? That's what I did. I bought it from Micro Center at $260. And I sold a bunch of my Spider-Man at MSRP because I saw it was not a good set. I let it go at MSRP. I was happy with it. I made my 30%. And I'm very happy with that. And listen, I'm hoping that it pays off for you. I'm hoping that you who bought that box at $950, I'm really hoping that it goes to $2,000, my brother. I hope it goes to $5,000. I won't have any by then, but I'm really happy for you people. I really do not have any ill intent towards anybody. I don't want to see anybody lose money. I don't want to see anybody suffer. All that I'm saying is you have to have an exit strategy. It's very easy to have an entry strategy, right? Well, let's just buy the box. Oh, Amazon dumps, buy the box. But what about your exit strategy? You're just going to hold it forever. And that's fine. If you are one of those people that are playing the long-term game, I'm going to throw this in my closet, wake me up when it's 5K. Absolutely. Do what you got to do. I'm talking about for the general people, because now the credit card debts are piling up. What are you going to do? Are you just really going to sit on this box when you could make 150% return on this box and just collect that money, reinvest it to something else? That's just my train of thought for the day here. What are your thoughts on this? I'm really curious. I know this is going to stir up some emotions, but hey, man, you got to stick to it. If you got a game plan and if you have a good, solid thesis behind it, the market will do what the market will do. The market is not rational. I do not believe in rational markets. That's just my own personal perspective. I've seen a lot of dumb stuff in the market, a lot of underpriced stuff, a lot of overpriced stuff where it made no sense. And we can talk more about that later. And if I do a comparison between stocks and the TCG market, because you guys will see there's a huge correlation between the stock market and the TCG market. But that's it. Have a good one.